Hey girlfriends, it's your girlfriend Dr. K, and today I'm reintroducing myself to those who've walked with me for years and to those who are just discovering this movement. Welcome to Girlfriendism International. I am the CEO of this brand and your love and liberation coach. And because it's my birthday, I'm celebrating a rebirth, both for myself and for this movement called Girlfriendism, now evolving into a global love and liberation movement for women across the globe. In this episode, I want to share why liberation matters for entrepreneurs, creatives, and advocates, and why this movement was born for us. Hey girlfriends, it's your girlfriend Dr. K, and I want to share a little bit about me so you can understand the root of this girlfriendism movement. I grew up on the island of St. Croix, beautiful island in the U.S. Virgin Islands, just 84 square miles of rich culture, history, rhythm, resilience, agriculture, and more. Now, we're not a country and we're not a state. We are a U.S. territory, also considered a colony, living under the influence of the United States without the same rights. So we can't vote for the president, yet we live with every decision of the presidency, and we see how that's going. And so that contradiction has shaped my understanding and the understanding of many Virgin Islanders when it comes to freedom. And I imagine that it shapes the understanding of freedom for other sister territories and colonies as well. So here, Emancipation Day is sacred. July 3rd, 1848, that's when enslaved Africans demanded and won their freedom. Now, we also honor the 1878 Crucian Firebun, which was led by four queens: Queen Mary, Queen Agnes, Queen Matilda, and Queen Susanna. So I say all of that to say, advocacy is in our DNA. But even with that pride, even with that history, I've always had this nudge, and I've started to ask, if we've been emancipated, why don't we always feel free? To emancipate means to be set free from legal, social, or political restrictions, especially from slavery or control. That's external, something granted by a system or authority. Now, liberation, on the other hand, that means the act of gaining freedom and self-determination through your own conscious action. That's internal, and that comes from within. And so that definition made it so clear to me. Emancipation can be given, but liberation must be claimed. And to be emancipated, that is from an external source. But liberation, that is an internal source. And so it all started to make sense to me. Now, when Bob Marley sang, "Emancipate yourself from mental slavery, none but ourselves can free our minds," I always knew those words carried profound meaning, but now I understand them in a deeper way. He knew we'd already been freed from physical chains, but what he was teaching was that our freedom has to come from within. The mental and emotional chains that keep us small, silent, or stuck, that is the mental slavery that none but ourselves can free. And so emancipation happens to us, but liberation happens within us. And no system can do that inner work for us. That is our personal and our collective calling. So this is where it leads me to creating this global movement for entrepreneurs, creatives, and advocates. Well, why am I passionate about this group of people? Well, because I am an entrepreneur, a creative, and an advocate. And I see where this concept, this reality of embodying liberation is so powerful. So as an entrepreneur, I can say I grew up in a place where a government job was seen as the only secure path. But I never wanted security. I wanted sovereignty. That was my security. Through Girlfriendism, I've learned that entrepreneurship is not just about profit, it's about purpose. It's not just about transaction, it's about transformation. And entrepreneurship, that is a spiritual practice. The courage to create something from nothing, to trust your gifts, and to build wealth through wellness and impact, that is something much deeper than what most people think about when they talk about being an entrepreneur. So this movement of Girlfriendism exists so that women everywhere who identify as an entrepreneur can own their power, own their time, and their divine ability to manifest abundance from alignment. Now, as a creative, that resonates with me too, especially as a woman coming from a very creative and artistic family. So, as creatives, we are the visionaries, the artists, the dancers, the storytellers. And I always think of that first line of the Bible in Genesis. In the beginning, God created. Creation was the first act of spirit. So when we create, we participate in the divine. But being a creative can also feel lonely because we don't fit the traditional idea of success. The world teaches emancipation. Follow the rules, check the boxes, earn your freedom. But as creatives, we seek liberation from within. Liberation for the creative means living outside the box, birthing that which doesn't yet exist, and being surrounded by people who understand that kind of magic. And so Girlfriendism is that space. It's a home for creatives to be seen, to be supported, and truly celebrated as they turn vision into a whole vibration. And now there's my advocates. Oh, my heart is in this space. Why? Well, for nearly a decade, I served as the executive director of the Virgin Islands Coalition Against Domestic Violence and Sexual Assault in the Virgin Islands. I advocated for systemic changes through schools, through courts, political systems, community systems, you name it. But what I saw was a cycle when it came to advocacy for survivors. Crisis, shelter, temporary stability, and then this tapering off where too often women returned to similar situations, not from weakness, but from the absence of a conversation around liberation. And so that's why I founded Hope, helping ordinary people every day, the nonprofit branch of Girlfriendism. And our mission is to support survivors in their recovery, not just their escape. Because a crime against the body and mind is also a crime against the soul. And healing the soul requires more than just immediate crisis resources. It requires love, movement, community. Now, advocates, this movement is for us. Why? Well, many of us became advocates because we survived what we now serve. And so now we are both the healers and the healed, and we're both the people who are going to move from being emancipated to liberated. So why a global movement? Well, because our healing and our impacts cannot be contained by borders. Every girlfriend across the globe deserves to know what it feels like to embody and experience love and liberation. From the Virgin Islands to Africa, from the Americas to Europe, women are ready to rise from survival to sovereignty. We're ready to rise from being emancipated to being liberated. And Girlfriendism is where entrepreneurs, creatives, and advocates who are ready for this liberation journey can come together to heal, build, and move through love. So today on my solar return, my only wish was to share this gift because I honor the entrepreneur in me who redefines wealth. I honor the creative in me who finds beauty in everything. And I honor the advocate in me who turns pain into purpose. And I honor that entrepreneur, that creative, and that same advocate in you too. So I call forth those same parts in you. Because yes, there's a 1% wealthy in money, but there's another 1% that's wealthy in spirit and in money. So we are the 1% in this space. And through our spiritual wealth, we're building true holistic wealth. Soul first, body second, mind third. And we're doing that as a community of girlfriends. So if you felt that calling in any way, I want to welcome you home, girlfriend. Welcome to this Girlfriendism movement, a global movement for love and liberation. That's all for now, girlfriends. Let's stay connected and subscribe for more at www.girlfriendism.com. And don't forget to follow us on Facebook and Instagram.